Oh boy, guys. Okay, so this race was probably one of the best races I had in this daily race here. So my last video was showing me having a very negative race, but I feel like this race makes up for everything. So P1 was an Audi TT, and you probably know how I already feel about TT drivers and how that car just inflates your driver rating. So the Lambo behind me, or Congretti, I've raced with him before. He is a fantastic driver, and you'll see in this race too, just only further proving my point. We get off to a pretty normal start. Us three kind of streak away, and then that's kind of how it stays for the rest of the race, pretty much. But we do get past the TT in front of us rather easily, both of us, because the guy in front isn't a very good driver. I know he isn't. I actually had a previous race with him where he rammed me at the same place at this hairpin actually coming up in a different race, and putting me down to A driver rating for some reason, because this game likes to do that. And so I got back up to S, and I was fortunate enough to get with him into another race, and I just leave him behind. I don't even care about him. I wanted to be toxic in this race afterwards, but I decided not to, because I still had a good race with Congretti, and I didn't want to ruin it. So this first lap, nothing interesting really happened. The Lambos just kind of get past the TT. Rather simple moves, nothing too elaborate or crazy. I feel the Lambo has a better overall racecraft or racing pace than the TT. So for a one lap qualifying a TT is pretty strong, but overall I think the Lambo kind of is stronger in my opinion. And I just don't like driving a TT because the drivers behind it are kind of like the Scirocco and the Megane. If you remember back in like 2017 when those cars were broken in a straight line. Just not good players, just ramming you at every corner. So fast forwarding here to lap 2, because the rest of this lap was kind of normal. I pulled like a small little gap on Congretti, but he manages to catch up right away because I had a pretty weak second to last corner. I kind of psyched myself out of actually going through it at top speed because I really wanted to win this race. So me and Congretti pull away from the TT because it's again not a good driver, just a good car. And he gets a way better run than me through this hairpin here, or the first corner. He really does do that a lot. He's a very good driver. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but he gets a whole running line through the entire S section. But unfortunately, he dips one wheel onto the grass. I think if he kept it all on the track, I think he would have probably gone to the overtaker on this corner. But fortunately, our luck kind of pays off. So coming down to this hairpin, my most feared corner on this track, I go defensive, and he tries to sell me the dummy, but I'm not buying it. I know defensive driving. I'm not gonna say I'm the best at it, but I think I'm pretty good. So I usually know how to handle these situations. But so we're gonna switch to Congretti's view here, just because I feel like it's more interesting because he's on the chase now. So coming through the Miyabi section, or the S's here, he's gonna try and get a better run through of this corner because he's way better than me going through these long corners here. He always gets a better run through them, and his drafting usually right after puts him right up next to me. Even if there's like a half-second difference between us, he always comes back. But here, unfortunately, he kind of breaks a little bit late, but he gets a still pretty good run through the corner, so he's gonna again catch right back up to me. So the Lambo strengths here are definitely out of the slower corners because of its four-wheel drive, and it has a pretty decent top speed, but not as strong as the Audi TT. And the Audi TT is already behind us again because it's just such a dominant car in a straight line. You can't really do anything about it. You don't need a good line or anything going through these corners. You can just kind of floor it and you'll be good at the end of the straights because you'll catch right back up. So we both kind of go slow through that corner. You can go about 145 through that corner if you have a good line, but I went 130 the first lap, and he just dipped below 140 on this lap. So this is a pretty intense race going on. And ironically, the Nations Cup World Finals finished yesterday, and that was an intense race. And here I'm just having a little daily race, and this is probably the most intense race I'll ever get. So I have a pretty clean line through this corner, but again, Congretti just gets a way better exit than me, and he's just going to catch right up at the end of these S's. He gets a really good run through, and he's going to pull alongside me, and this is where I believe his true potential kind of shines through here. So this is not really an overtaking corner if you know what you're doing. If you take the fastest line through, it's really hard for people to overtake you, but I kind of leave him actually a bit of room, and he just breezes right by, no problems at all. And he gets a little bit on the grass here, but that really doesn't matter at all. But this is probably the best part of the race. So we come side by side, one corner, and in this corner we're side by side again, so that's two corners coming through. And very clean racing going on, leaving space, which I really like and enjoy. So this is another corner we're going side by side, and a fourth corner going side by side, and this is the final corner. He has the better entry through it, but we're pretty much almost side by side coming through here. Fortunately, he has the superior line, so he's going to get a better exit, which is really unfortunate. But he goes defensive, and I try and give him a little switchback, but you can't really see it there, but he kind of really parks it on the apex, which is some pretty good driving. That corner is really easy to run wide, and you lose a lot of time there. So great defensive driving from both of us here. And I try and give him a little switchback again, and I would have come out of the corner faster, but I kind of lose it there, giving him the edge, which really stressed me out there. So this is where I make my first kind of really bad race-ending mistake here. I run it a little bit wide. Not enough to give me a penalty though, which is really fortunate. But then the third Lambo gets past the TT, and this is going to be a drag race to the finish line. This is the closest finish I've had in Gran Turismo Sport, and probably the closest finish you can possibly get. So right at the line, he just barely overtakes me. And actually, at the end of the race, we were both 1.660 seconds behind the leader. So we pretty much finished at the same time. But the game gave it to him, and if you actually rewatch the replay, he definitely finishes before me. I'll try and show it now. So this is all out drag race to the finish line. Super intense. He just barely pulls ahead, just right at the last second. If I probably shifted better, I think I could have pulled out in front, and if I got a better exit through that corner, I think I just would have barely finished ahead of him. That was the closest race I've ever had. And now that intense race is over, we're going to look at some bad TT drivers. So this TT driver was kind of mad about me passing him earlier, but he comes back, just completely doesn't acknowledge me. He just kind of pushes me off the track, and I run a little bit wide here, and I'm a little mad with this TT driver. But again, it's a TT driver. What do you expect? They're all really bad drivers, so just doesn't even care. And just continues on like nothing happened. No penalties either, which is pretty garbage in this game. And the final TT driver we're going to look at is someone he looked at before. He's always going to be my favorite, or least favorite. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more daily race content, I know that's not my main focus on this game, but I'm kind of getting back into it. So if you want to see more daily race content, just leave a like and subscribe. And anyways, peace.